the Gloucester Fishermen, and tonight they host a Reading football team that has been the class of Division II in Eastern Massachusetts for the last dozen years, and we can certainly make a case that Gloucester has been the class of Division III for the last dozen years, JD.
No question. It's a good opening game for both teams. In the overall scheme of things, as far as Super Bowl and conference and all of that, it has no bearing. The loser goes out of here still with a chance to do business in the conference and go on to the playoffs and the Super Bowl. But when you can match up two teams of this caliber in an opening game, obviously that's why they've maintained this rivalry. The Reading program has been on the upswing for a number of years. Gloucester has certainly had Reading's number for the last couple of years, but it's a good test for both teams, and I think we're going to see here tonight, shall we call it the post-Jimmy Eunice era?
Yes, we can. Gloucester only lost 3 games during that era, and of course won a Super Bowl title, and lost in the Super Bowl and also lost in the playoffs last year. This is the Gloucester program with a really big winning tradition over the last 7 years in particular. Coach Terry Silver, now the winningest coach in Gloucester High history with 146 victories. We've got offensive talent returning. They're standing out there now for the coin toss. Quarterback Nolan Palazzolo, 14, wingback Kyle Goodwin, number 11, and running back Tyler Testaverde scored over 40 touchdowns for the Fishermen last year. JD, it's always good when you get your skilled people back on offense.
Well, I think the offense is, even with the departure of Jimmy Eunice, once-in-a-lifetime football player, once-in-a-lifetime kid. You're just never going to replace a Jimmy Eunice. Any coach that gets somebody of that caliber, both on the field and off the field, considers themselves very lucky. I'm sure Terry Silver would tell you that in a nanosecond. And also the one-year stardom of Danny Murray. But I still think the offense is there, is the strong part of the Gloucester program. The questions, Whitman Hansen touched on it, and we're going to touch on the Star Spangled Banner, and hopefully if we get a minute when we come back, I'll finish my thought. Side of the ball, Terry Silver Bill's offensive lines, the skill people that Bob Drowan mentioned are back. It's the defensive side of the ball that I'm going to be paying attention to. We saw last year in the Whitman Hansen game, they found some things that they exploited against the Gloucester defense, but Gloucester has come up with an outstanding addition to their coaching staff. Tom Cato, if you go back to '87 to the classic matchup, unfortunately for the Fishermen, controversial matchup between Gloucester and Chelmsford. On the other side of the field was Tom Cato. He's on this side of the field now. He's handling the defense. This is a coaching staff, to me, is as good as any in the state. Terry Silver, as you said, Bob Drowan, winningest coach in Gloucester High history. Paul Ingram, former head coach, runs the offense, and now Tom Cato, with the impeccable credentials that he brings to the table, running the defense. And if there's a better coaching staff around, and you throw in a Mike Brennan, who could go out and run his own program if he so wanted to, but he's very happy and content here. This is one heck of a coaching staff. And very, very anxious to see what Coach Cato has installed on the defensive side of the ball. We're going to see the offense first, though, as Gloucester is receiving.
Reading is going to kick off to the Fishermen. We'll talk a little bit more about Reading as we get into the first quarter. 11-minute quarter. Again, this is Division II against Division III. Gloucester Division III. Short kickoff will be handled by Testaverde. Comes up to the right side, gets one block, and he'll go down at about the 27-yard line. Kyle Goodwin and Testaverde were deep for the kickoff. Usually the kickoff team will have have a bunch of seniors on it. We'll try and identify them as we go along. Reading coached by Tom Kasparek. And they lost just 2 games last year. One was to Gloucester, 20-6. The other one was a 14-12 loss to Wakefield that cost them a chance at postseason play. Gloucester undefeated during the regular season. Lost to Whitman-Hanson. That ended a 23-game Gloucester winning streak. Gloucester uses the Delaware wing tee. This is a pitch play to Testaverde over the left side, and Testaverde gets ahead for a couple to about the 29-yard line. Nolan Palazzolo, number 14, is the tri-captain, and along with Goodwin and Testaverde in the backfield. Again, Goodwin is 11 and Testaverde 23. JD?
You're cutting out on me, Kimasabi. Hopefully we're being picked up okay upstairs. I hear you and I don't hear you. I should know Peter DeMaio is the end split out to the far side, a sophomore.
In motion, Goodwin. Goodwin gets the handoff right, and he's going to get ahead for about 3. And good contain there by number 20, David Healy, who is the captain, one of the tri-captains for Reading.
That was a good defensive contain outside. Goodwin had to make a decision whether to cut it up or not, and it was well read by Healy. They did pick up a couple yards, but they're looking at a 3rd and about 7.
It's a windy evening here at Gloucester after a warm day. 3rd and 5 for the Fishermen. Palazzolo back to throw with the fake, rolls, and he's going to run now, and he's not going to get the first down, but we have a flag on the play.
At the end of the play. Let's see what we have.
I don't know.
Palazzolo out of bounds, well short of the first down.
But I think it's going to go against Gloucester the way they were plotting on the Reading bench. Again, Reading is a kind of program that they can't be happy, JD, about having lost 5 straight games to the same team, even though over the years it's not quite, it's still, Gloucester's ahead, but not by much.
No, it tends to balance out, and like I said, it is a heck of a good first game for both teams, but when you drop 5 in a row, maybe you don't think it is such a good first game. There was some talk a little while ago that Reading might be looking to drop Gloucester. Gloucester is a division lower than Reading in the state division setup, and maybe they didn't like losing to a team that's a division lower.
The punter is Leo LaTraverse. He's punting to Gaff, number 9. Ball loose and down. It is covered by number 4, Dan Marshall. He's a senior wide receiver. The other, also Dan Gaff. They're both defensive backs, and they also play the wide out and flanker spots. So no return on the play, obviously.
Godron, I get a little nervous. I can't hear you, and I just hope that we're not having technical difficulties. See what Gloucester comes with a defense. They played a lot of 4-4. See if we got a different alignment with Coach Cato on the defensive side of things.
Tight, looking for the run. It's a drop back and
wide open
pressure,
on the wide left. Open. Somebody missed something. So wide open. Cut back.
The first defensive play of the season for the Fishermen is a huge mistake. That pass was completed to Jason Howes.
The only maroon jerseys anywhere near Howes were the kids on the sideline.
Chris Pizzotti, number 12, is the Reading quarterback, and that play went for 36 yards. Now Pizzotti hands off right up the middle, and that should be the fullback Tyrone Simpson, number 31, for a couple. We expect the defensive ends for Gloucester to be Dan O'Connor, number 68, and Rob Morrissey, number 53. Interior lineman Josh Ryan, 66, and Looks like we have number 65 in there.
I got Kyle Ryan as 65.
And that's
Josh Ryan is
Kyle Ryan.
66. We'll get a 65 as well.
Yeah, Kyle Ryan is starting at defensive tackle.
Also, we have 65 and 66, I believe.
See, Bob, I can hear.
Mix up in the backfield.
Thrown for a loss, and that was a play where the halfback, number 20, David Healy, got much too close to the quarterback, and then he got swarmed over by a bunch of fishermen.
Robbie Morrissey, Jr., playing, I think, defensive end. Now we got a timeout called by Gloucester.
So after one bad play on defense in which a blown coverage cost Gloucester a 36-yard play, we now have Reading steering at a 3rd and 13. Let's call it, well, 3rd and 13 because it's outside the 32-yard line and they have to get inside the 20.
Say, Bob, I can hear JD fine, but it's the headset.
Okay, JD, just a heads up that Rob talked to me and we have the sound all right. Now here's a
little
flanker reverse.
Flanker
screen, ball loose. And now they're certainly in a situation, that was really a lateral, I would say. It might be called a running play.
That was definitely a lateral. He was behind the quarterback.
That was Dan Marshall.
That's a play to look at later. Set up the same thing, and he would be able to throw it downfield because he was clearly behind the quarterback. Couldn't tell whether the ball squirted loose towards the end of that play, but they're looking at a 4th and about 6.
Okay, we have Ishai King at safety. We have Testaverde and Goodwin at the cornerbacks. We have outside linebackers Vince Pizzamente and Jack Reed. Pizzamente in coverage now. And here's a whistle, and that will be a motion call, which will make the 4th down play that much more difficult. The completion was made to Tyrone Simpson coming out of the backfield for Reading.
That was probably a little more open than it would have been because the whistle had blown and the Gloucester defense knew the whistle had blown the play dead, and they pulled off a little bit.
So that's going to make it 3rd and 10. 7:09 to go in the first quarter. Reading's first possession after Gloucester went 3 and out. Again, we apologize that we're talking about our headsets more than the game a little bit here, but when there's madness going on in your ears, it's a little bit hard to adjust. Of course, then there's dead silence, and that's harder to adjust to. All right, this is a big play early in the game. Clock running. 4th and 10.
Gloucester
straight
with
drop
some pressure. Little
and
screen,
it's a swing pass
screen.
That is going to fail. Gloucester will stop it on the play. Ishai King is there. Also Reed is there.
King was there, grabbed a hold.
And I believe number 52, Tyler Stropel, the starting tackle and linebacker, was there. So the old popular throw the pass 4 yards to try and get 10 doesn't always work, JD.
Well, he had one blocker out there, but it was a good defensive play. The blocker did a pretty fair job, but I think it was King grabbed hold and kept hold, and Gloucester takes over on downs.
Fishermen from their own 22. Handoff over the right side for Tyler Testaverde, and he'll get ahead for about 3. Offensive line for Gloucester, the tackles, Dan O'Connor, 68, Tyler Stropel, 52. The guards, Mike Mann, 54, and Kyle White, 64. Brendan Ciapparini, 63, is the center. Transfer number 6, Chris Sullivan at one tight end, and Leo LaTraverse, 41 at the other.
I think the concern with the offensive line is their size. They might be a little bit on the small size weight-wise, but as we said, Terry Silva builds offensive lines.
Jack Reed is the split end in this sequence for the Fishermen. DeMaio was in there earlier. Here's a handoff right up the middle, and this is Jamie Wall, the new fullback, the one person we hadn't identified yet.
There is some size with Mr. Wall.
And he's moved from defensive line, although he may see some action at defensive line, but he's won the fullback job in the preseason. He goes about 220, JD, and Gloucester's famous for having fullbacks who are 170.
As big a fullback as Gloucester has featured in a long, long time.
Looking at about 3rd and 3. Gloucester stayed on the ground because Palazzolo ran on the one play where he was back to pass. Handoff over the left side for Testaverde. Testaverde is going to be stopped short, and good It looked like he was going to get the first down, JD, and then a good job by the right side of the Reading
Whoever
line.
came
oh,
in,
they give him the first down. All right.
Okay.
Look at this spot.
Good effort.
Whoa.
Good spot.
Sorry, folks, and I'm happy to be wrong.
Well, Testaverde must have gotten under that tackle. From this angle, they look like they had him pushed off.
Yeah.
Short of the first down, but he must have gotten under the tackle.
No measurement, no hesitation.
No.
We're moving on.
And no argument from the Reading side.
Right. Handoff. No, this is a fake. Palazzolo with a man open.
Wide open. Good one.
It's going to be a reception, and he's going to get down the sideline out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Boy, did he break clear.
He was absolutely by himself. Palazzolo, that's a tough wind. It's a crosswind, and it would knock the ball down if anything. Late coverage by Gath prevented the touchdown. Gath closed the ground a little bit. Again, a severe crosswind, and you can see Palazzolo's ball started out being able to get Goodwin a little lead downfield, but the wind knocked it down a little bit. That was a well-thrown ball under the circumstances. Nice catch, Goodwin, and a saving play by Gath on defense.
38-yard play now. Wall ahead for about 4 over the right side. Reed is still in at wide receiver.
As always, Gloucester quarterbacks come over and visit with Paul Ingram, the offensive coordinator.
3-yard gain on that play, 2nd and 7 for the Fishermen. As usual, the Gloucester center comes out first. That's Brendan Ciapparini. This is a pitch right for Testaverde. Behind plenty of blocking.
Nice
Testaverde comes back. He gets close to another first down.
Somebody got a hand on it. It was a nice cut.
Number 21, I believe, with the hit was Dennis DeSico, who starts strictly on defense.
I think it was Heaney, one of the captains, who might have just got a little piece of him. Testaverde with a nice cutback. Looked like he had some daylight. But they do get just short of the first down. Being inside the 20, they'll certainly take a couple of pups at this, barring a disaster on this play.
Heaney is 44 for Reading. Tight formation.
Long count. Real long count. Little head bob by Palazzolo.
Wall over the left
Gets
side.
Gets the first down. Palazzolo, long count, and threw the little head bob in towards the end of it, but Reading stayed home, but good hole off the left side. Wall just slid over that way, gets a couple yards.
And Reed standing up in that formation too, in the tight formation. I don't think we've seen that before. Now Reed split to the left. Wall up the middle, good hole. Gets ahead for about 7, JD.
Just solid right, then left, now back to the right. Nothing fancy, just off the tackle.
Got a very nice opening night crowd here, JD.
To be expected. Beautiful night except for this wind, which is blowing right off the harbor, right in the booth. And again, it will have some effect on the passing game because it is a stiff crosswind.
A lot more fun now that I can hear you in my headset. Handing over to the right side. Testaverde gets ahead. This will be close to a first down. He'll probably be a yard short. One big pass play, and now grinding it out on the ground, JD.
A good wrap-up tackle there.
And let's not forget that the initial first down, Testaverde squirmed to get it, and when I thought he might have been stopped.
I think that was Panetta on the tackle, and it was a good wrap-up tackle. They do pick up a couple of yards.
We'll call it 3rd and a long one. Just inside the 10. Handoff to Testaverde. He's ahead for the first down.
Should have the first.
And the Gloucester offensive line seems to have taken control here a little bit. First and goal for the Fishermen at the 8-yard line.
Gets to get in there as an extra blocker also.
Number 6, the tight end on the left, Chris Wilson, is a transfer from Florida.
Little split in the backfield. Testaverde to this side. Motion Goodwin. They run
and Wall has it. Wall
Big
is
hole,
close to a
nice
touchdown.
hole.
He's down to the 1. Nice straight ahead running. Nice straight zone blocking, I believe.
They split the backs a little bit wider, split Testaverde over to this side a little bit more, and then they motioned Goodwin, and they go off right tackle with a beautiful, beautiful hole over there with Wall.
Have to remember last year, JD, that the Reading had trouble stopping the fullback right from the get-go, and Chris Ciccolone broke a 57-yarder to start the game.
Let's see if Mr. Wall doesn't get it again. Mr. Wall does get it again.
Wall does get it, and he's close.
Heads down.
Touchdown it is.
There he goes.
So Jamie Wall gets his first varsity touchdown, and that's going to be a throw.
Well, that's typical of the Gloucester offense. The guy that does the yeoman work in any kind of a drive usually gets the call at the goal line. Wall with a number of carries in the drive. Very effective. Goes off the right side, puts his head down. And Gloucester's on the scoreboard with the first touchdown of the season.
That's a 2-yard touchdown run with 52 seconds to go in the first quarter, and that drive for Gloucester about 6 minutes.
Can't see who the kicker is.
Keating, I believe.
It is Keating.
Keating is up and good with the kick. That's Kyle Keating.
That's a strong kick with this win.
And the holder was Vito Ciccolone, the backup quarterback.
That Ciccolone, we'll keep in mind, is the backup quarterback, and that's also a weapon with your holder as with quarterback skills. So that's something that can come into play at some point.
So Gloucester on top 7-0 with less than a minute to go in the first quarter, and fans probably a little nervous, JD, when they on their first play of the season, but the defense held and the offense took it down the field. 78-yard drive.
Well, errors of commission or omission, those things are correctable, and I'm sure Coach Cato rectified the situation immediately.
We've got Simpson back deep along with Marshall. Simpson 31, Marshall 4. Leo Lattraverse, the Gloucester kicker. We see Jack Reed, we see Goodwin on the kickoff team. We see number 20, Kyle Grant. We see number 53, Robbie Morrissey, who's playing defense at defensive end. We see Ishai King, number 24.
Oh, strong
kick is a good one.
Wow.
Into the wind.
Yeah,
now
that's
here
a
goes
good
Marshall.
move.
Marshall with a hole.
Little running room.
And he's going to get up to close to the 40. Tackle, and it might have been a saving
That's
tackle.
Jack Reed, exactly. Because I think there was a safety man, but I think that he was occupied. And there was definitely a lot more running room if Reed doesn't make that tackle. Good, sure tackle. And like you said, Bart Rowan, could have been a touchdown-saving tackle, but certainly a lot more yardage there if Reed doesn't get him.
Jack Reed doesn't. It might be Kyle Goodwin chasing him to see if he can catch him from behind.
Yeah, well, Goodwin was occupied.
Right.
He wasn't blocked down, but it would have been a foot race, although Goodwin is certainly fast.
Here's a pitch to the right, and running room, and a first down, and that's for number 20, Healy, David Healy, one of the tri-captains.
King on the tackle with some help from Vince Pizzamenti.
77, their offensive tackle, Matt Austin, is also a captain. And the other offensive tackle is Pat Silver, number 74.
Reed comes off.
Austin listed at 280 and Silver at 235. The guards for Reading, Josh Stein at 210, number 55, and Scott Miller at 195-52. The center is 57, 195-pound Mike Kerrigan, who goes both ways. He's a nose guard on defense. This handoff is over the left side. Nowhere.
Oh,
good penetration.
Nice stick. Nice stick. That's got to be Michael Mann.
Yeah, number 54, Mike Mann. Going both ways in the offensive line.
That's textbook. It looked like he was into the hole, and Mann comes in, puts the shoulder right on him, drives it back. Absolutely textbook tackle. Good job, Michael.
Okay, we have a timeout. And the Gloucester fans appreciative of that. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's the end of the quarter. That is the end of the quarter. And that's with the score, Gloucester 7-0. We'll be right back. Ready to go with second period action at Newell Stadium. Gloucester Fishermen on top of the Reading Rockets. 7-0 JD, and after a bit of a question mark at the start, a great Gloucester drive to basically almost end the quarter.
Real nice, solid drive, and again, Gloucester prefers to keep the ball on the ground. Nolan Palazzolo, extremely capable at putting the ball up, but the ground game is the bread and butter for the fishermen, and featuring Wall, it was a nice, good, wind him out type of a drive. Took a lot of time off the clock, and actually it was a good first period.
Okay.
All things considered.
Vince Pizzamenti, number 40, is in at linebacker, as we said earlier, but and we have Stropel and Mann and Jack Reed. Now we got two wideouts. Aishai King will cover the man in the slot. This is a handoff over the right side. Good tackle once again. A good penetration, and the bottom man is Tyler Stropel, 52, and he got some help from Pizzamenti on the play.
And there was a lovely hold by Reading on that, but Gloucester had that well covered. Turned it in. Stropel right there to make the tackle.
So after getting one first down, after the fairly decent kickoff return, Reading is a little bit frustrated here looking at 3rd and 11, but Chris Pizzotti is a capable passer.
Kyle Ryan in the game. Nate Denon just seeing a little action offensively. Nate two-way. Nate, a lot less than Nate. Worked real hard, dropped the weight down, and ready to give it a good go.
Pizzotti with the drop back. He's got
a lot of pressure.
He's going, he gets away.
Stepped away. Still away.
Now he's going down. Oh, yes.
Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I see about 7 maroon shirts chasing him around.
Well, that's good pursuit, though, because the other players who were being blocked for a while realized that Pizzotti couldn't even put his head up, and so the sack, although it could have been for 7 more yards, it still is a sack, and it still is a Reading punt.
Now, good pursuit. The Gloucester defensive line put the pressure on. Then when they got Pizzotti on the run, the linebackers got into it also.
I believe the man with the first pressure was 65, and that's
Kyle Ryan.
Kyle Ryan, yeah.
Jack Reed, I think.
And here's, how did they miss it?
Wow, right by him.
Yeah.
A little bit of a Reading bounce.
Goodwin and Testaverde were back. It rolls to the 20. The Gloucester man, I think, backed off because he was afraid of roughing, but I thought he had a chance to block it.
It literally went under him. I think that was Tyler Stropel with good pressure, and how he missed it, I'm not sure. And I have to say for these receivers on the punts and the kickoffs that this wind is a factor, because that ball is literally going to do a U-turn on you.
9:17 to go in the second quarter. Once again, I'm Bob Drone along with J.D. McEachran. Pleased as always to bring you Gloucester High football in Adelphia. And the handoff is right at the middle for Wall. And it's a foot race.
Big
he's
guy
going to
with
lose it.
speed.
Wow, he's going all right.
He blew through there in a great big hurry and shows some pretty darn good speed.
37 yards on the play, J.D.
I mean, he just literally, if that was touch football, nobody laid a glove on him going through there.
And Gloucester has uncovered a weakness on Reading's part. And the saving tackle was made by Marshall, number 4. But
and he had to cover some ground to get to Wall.
He did, because he's coming from the corner, not from the safety spot. 1st and 10. Reading might have jumped. They did. And Palazzolo, the keeper. And Palazzolo is going to get ahead. Gloucester's going to get a first down. It's a late hit on the side.
No flag.
No. Oh, wow.
No flag.
All right, well, it's a Gloucester first down.
Because we're across the field, but it looked like Palazzolo was out of bounds when he was hit.
Looked like he was well out of bounds.
Palazzolo fakes a handoff to Wall, pulls it back, and they bid for it. About 3 guys wrap Wall up. And Palazzolo takes it out around the right side. He was forced a little bit. Now we'll see what we have. A little conversation with the officials.
Well, they're going to refuse the penalty.
Offside, okay.
And they're going to take it the 11-yard gain down. Oh, actually, oh boy, they gave him 13 yards. I looked. Oh no, it is 11. Okay, there's the spot.
But Palazzolo, as we know, we've been watching Nolan. This is his 3rd year. First year at Manchester, took them to a Super Bowl. First year at Gloucester, took them to a Super Bowl. Last year, took them to a
Super Bowl victory. First, though, let's get that in there. And by the way, folks, any new listeners out there, we're homers, and we're unashamed.
Hopeless homers. Flag.
Movement.
What do we got?
I think it's on Gloucester. It's not the kind of penalty that could be on the defense. Somebody moved.
Yeah, once you go
lost
to
their
that
stance.
interior lineman, once they go to a set position, they cannot move. You can put one man in motion, but if you're in the interior line, you cannot move once you are set.
But there's lots of good news going on with 8:26 left to go in the first quarter. Gloucester's on another drive. Now they face a 1st and 15 from the 37-yard line. Tremendous debut so far for Jamie Wall as the fullback, and we were talking about those other 3 guys who scored all those touchdowns coming back. No, Jamie Wall gets one, and that's good, because a good fullback will make it for Gloucester, and he's supposed to be a good blocker too. Handoff up the middle. No, Pelzola still has it. Pelzola's in trouble, and he loses the ball, and he gets it back. Okay.
Has to go after the ball. Good defensive pressure applied by, I'm going to say, is Howes. Might be Howes, I'm not sure. Nolan came out, and Howes was not blocked at all, and Nolan just was running out of real estate. He did bobble the ball rolled out of bounds.
So after the 37-yard run by Wall and the 11-yard run by Pelzola, the Fishermen are now going backwards. 5 yards on the penalty, and of course that's technically a sack, and now they're back to the 45-yard line, and it's 2nd and 22. And this is a draw play. Wall breaks a tackle, gets inside the 40, and if they can get it, this could be 4-down territory if they can get inside, I think, the 10 yards needed for the 4th down, JD.
Yeah.
So they may be looking at it that way.
They get it down inside the 30, I'm sure they'll go for an attempt at a 4th down conversion. Good little piece of ball handling by Nolan. Good little delay by Wall. Delay just half a step.
Right. 3rd and 15 from the 37. This is a screen pass, and it's going to be Testaverde, and Testaverde with a hole. Testaverde could go.
Touchdown.
It's going to be.
Well, maybe the 1-yard line. Now this. What do they got?
Waiting for the call.
We got a penalty
against
back upfield.
All right. So, but where's the penalty?
Right.
Blocking in the back, it looks like.
Yeah, they're pointing way back up.
Okay.
Towards the 35.
Unfortunate, but it's going to be walked off now. It'll be 3rd and 20. So they wind up losing 5 yards on the, well, okay, let's call it more like 3rd and 21. They didn't quite lose it all.
From the spot of the penalty.
Yeah.
Testaverde was driven out of bounds. Whoever was chasing him is going to be pretty quick because Testaverde's fast. But all for naught as it is all the way back to the 43.
Both of these teams have good speed out there, JD.
Looks it. Well, when the, I can't ever pronounce his name, but I'll finish the thought in a minute as Gloucester set to go.
Straight drop back, looking deep, now just looking for room. Now it's going to be another sack.
That was a nice contain out on that side. I think that was 99 again. Panetta. That was a very, very good contain. He just held his ground. Nolan tried to give a little bit of a fake. I think if he could have got him up in the air, Nolan would have been able to get it out to the outside and a little bit of running room. But Panetta just held his ground, forced Nolan to come inside, and Panetta got some help from some friends, and Gloucester will have to punt it away. Latavers
is the kicker.
Good snap. Gotta figure out who the snapper is.
And this one's going to go out very nicely, right around the 11-yard line. So a nice kick, kept it away from the men, and got some nice yardage on it.
Took advantage of the wind. He pushed it off to this side. Again, the wind blowing across the field from the harbor right into the booth. And he just kind of pooched it down there a little bit.
36-yard kick and no return. Take that every time.
Have to see who the long snapper is. That was a good sure snap back.
We'll try and identify him in the course of the contest. 6:20 to go in the second quarter. Fishermen on top 7-0. Rockets had a promising first drive, or at least a promising first play. But the Fishermen stopped them, and they went 3-0 last time. Now we're going to have a timeout on offense. And that timeout gives us a chance to thank our supporters for these broadcasts, and that's Glover's Flooring, Ciccolone Construction, the Sports Zone, and the Cape Ann Savings Bank. And we do thank them for their support for the broadcast. Well, it's the third Pizzotti brother out there, JD, and I guess we've seen them all.
A number of years ago, we went to a Touchdown Club banquet. The Pizzotti that preceded this Pizzotti was being honored, and he sat at our table with his dad and 3 uncles, and all football guys, and just a very, very nice family. Yes, I know they're from Reading, and they're the bad guys and all that stuff, but it was a very nice night, and enjoyed meeting the entire family, and they told us at the time there was still another brother to go, so here he is.
Yeah, and the other 2 were Dave and Steve, I believe, and this is Chris, who's here tonight. And he got roughed up a little bit on the last possession on the Gloucester sack, and he also showed that he was a little bit elusive, so we have to keep an eye on that.
Listed at 6'5", and as you can see him approach the huddle, he's
the tallest
pretty close.
One. Yeah. The other kids were good size, but he's the tallest brother. I imagine he helps out in basketball. This is a handoff to Simpson up the middle, faking the pitch a little bit. And Simpson, number 31, gets ahead for about 4, just about the 15.
They do what Gloucester will do sometimes, put a man in motion, fake the pitch to him, and in this case they hand it off, get a couple.
Okay, Gloucester defense seems to be about the same. Man in motion again, but it's right to Simpson. This one is Jack Reed with a nice hit. Coming in from the outside linebacker spot. Also, Stropel was there from the inside.
And Nate Denon comes up off the bottom. As we said, Nate worked real hard in the off seasons, dropped a lot of weight, got rid of that baby fat. Dad feeds him well. Peter, as we know, good guy, and was around here a few years ago doing some good things on the football field and the track.
Sean Burns, number 50, was in there for that last play, and now O'Connor is back in the game. O'Connor at the right defensive end, going both ways mostly, but you got a little, Burns was in to help him out.
Big third down play for Reading.
We got a motion.
A little motion, so they're going to go 5 more yards than they thought they were going to have to go.
Under the 5-minute mark in the first half now. And a very quick game. It's been mostly running, except for 2 big pass plays. And of course, we'll come to you with our famous docking his stats after halftime.
Doc with his trusty typewriter. Doc got a better seat this year. Anything personal?
I don't know.
Moved so far away from.
We got the Herald here tonight, so that's good. Mark Murphy from the Herald.
Guys from Reading, so there's some coverage.
And there's another call, and this is not conducive to mounting an offensive attack.
No.
I think it must have been the same thing, perhaps.
The whistle came on the snap. That's 5 yards there, motion again.
All right, so this is a big advantage for the Fishermen, so it's 3rd and 17 now. They're back at their own 5-yard line, JD, and they're going to be punting into the wind if they don't do anything here.
Right, and they've obviously got to protect the football. 3rd and long. And you got to think that if they want to even think about converting, they got to put the ball up.
As we've been saying about this Gloucester attack for years, don't give them a short field. 3rd and 17, the draw play. And there's a great play by Tyler Stropel, because he had a chance to get 10 or 12, and Stropel doesn't make the play, but that was a nice head-on tackle. So I really kind of looking at some linebacker play here that's pretty good so far, JD.
I like what I see thus far.
3:45, clock moving.
Well, we may like what we see, but it always comes down to Monday and film time.
Oh yeah, film time.
What do the coaches think?
How about they're looking at those films Sunday morning, I'm sure. And there's a low snap. Left-footed boot is away by Housey. Goodwin handles it at the 45. He's coming back to the left. And he's going to make some move. He's going to get inside the 30. So it is going to be a very short field for the Fishermen. It wasn't a bad punch. He almost outkicked his coverage, however.
No, it was a good punt. He was in the end zone. He did a good job. The ball came back on the ground. He fielded it well. And he got the ball out of there in pretty good shape. But Goodwin We mentioned the graduation of Danny Murray, a great story. Walks out to the football field, plays 1 year, walks himself into a scholarship. But right behind him is another fine athlete in Kyle Goodwin. Not quite as tall as Danny, but he's got the great pair of hands and the speed.
40-yard kick, 22-yard return. And here's Wall up the middle.
Oh, good job.
No, that's Pizzamenti. I'm sorry.
It was Pizzamenti. Saw the 4, and you're right.
I saw the 4. It's a much smaller person. I said to myself, wait a second. Pizzamenti lining up at fullback gets the call and gets off a nice 10-yard run.
Nice piece of running, too, by Pizzamenti. Little jammed up around the line of scrimmage. Just felt his way for his blocker. Saw a little spot outside. Goes outside and gets Gloucester a first down.
First and 10 at the 15, and here's
There's
Wall, and Wall goes for 6. And Gloucester is dominating up front.
They have this Reading defense back on their heels a little bit, just pounded the ball right at them.
And Reading does have some size. We said that this could be the smallest Gloucester team in a while, but we also said that when it comes to building offensive lines, Coach Silver's the guy you want to see. Second and 4 inside the 10. Testaverde, no, it's
Wall.
a Wall up the middle. A good fake. And Wall is down to about the 6.
Wall ran into a little bit of that Reading size.
Yeah, I think Matt Austin, 77, was in on that one.
He's listed at 255.
Second and 2. I mean, handoff.
Touchdown.
And it's a touchdown for Goodwin. Little misdirection there, JD.
Little inside reverse. Goodwin comes out of the right side, over the left.
So the Fishermen go on top, 13-0, and they only had to drive 25 yards, JD, and that's the story of that.
Well, Goodwin sets it up with a nice little punt return, puts them in position. A couple of nice runs, Pizzamenti, Wall, and then Goodwin gets the honors and gives Gloucester the second touchdown of the game and of the season.
Kyle Keating, number 4, is out to try his second conversion. Low snap, great spot.
Oh, strong kick.
Great spot. Excellent job by Vito
That was
Gigaloni.
Gigaloni, and that's quarterback hands.
That's hands.
Great job.
Yeah. It's the little things. That point could mean something someday. Maybe not tonight, but someday.
Well, Keating showing a strong leg, certainly, and Gigaloni helping out greatly with a fine spot.
Keating actually did some kicking 2 years ago and then had some injury problems last year, JD.
Keating Odia Jr.
Right. All right, so it's 1:57 to go in the first half. It's 14-0 Gloucester. And offensive line looks just fine to me.
Well, I think you're right in so much as, again, I mean, relatively, it is a small offensive line, but this is a big defensive front that Reading's showing them, and the Gloucester offensive line is just moving them out of there very, very nicely.
Leo LaTraverse has the wind at his back for this kickoff. Although it's always a little bit of a crosswind off the...
No, still a crosswind.
Yeah.
As we look out at the...
Josh Rose on the kickoff team, 25.
Strong kick.
And it's inside the 10-yard line to Simpson. Simpson comes straight up the middle. Oh, he's down. Leo LaTraverse is there.
Hello.
Leo LaTraverse is also, wait a minute, number 3. Nick Gigaloni. Nice hit there. He's a sophomore linebacker, I believe.
Wow. Looked like he had a little running room, and that was the end of that at the 25-yard line. Their own 25.
All right, we've got a spread formation here, a man in motion. Reading wants to do something before the half. It's a screen pass, and it's going to go for some yardage, and Gath has got it, and Gath will get it up to the 45-yard line.
Reed has to run him down.
kind of a one-man screen. He just kind of floated out there. It's more like he kind of drifted as a drag pattern, but he's not a tight end or like that. He is the wide receiver, and when the other receivers go downfield, he just kind of spots up.
It was a good little toss. He got behind the defender, had a little bit of a running room, and Pizzotti put it right in there and led him nicely, so he's going upfield when he caught it.
So Reading first down at the
44
ball.
Pizzotti forced a fall on it.
And that's going to be a 3-yard loss, though, and the clock running. They may have to spend a timeout right here. I see a clipboard thrown on the sideline over on the Reading way. They weren't happy about that one.
No, I'm sure they wanted with a minute to go to at least have this ball across midfield so they can get some looks at the end zone.
Okay, they're not stopping the clock. I guess they want to see if they get some positive yardage on this down, JD. They don't want to give Gloucester any time. 14-0 Fishermen. We're under a minute to go now.
Because we never know in high school football how many timeouts we're looking at.
We're going to investigate that sometime. Pizzotti looks for the middle screen,
oh,
and that's not going to work.
Break for the Fishermen as the referee.
That's Pizzamenti on the tackle, and that's the referee on the screen.
All right.
It's a 2-yard gain, and the clock is running. Now they're going to call a timeout with 32 seconds unofficially.
Yeah, Goth may have had a little more running room. I mean, that's the referee's position, and he got a little tangled up in there. Goth, don't know. There was some good coverage by the Fishermen, but maybe Goth gets an extra step that the tangle with the referee cost him. He might have been able to come out to the sidelines, which would have killed the clock and given him a little more yards, but we'll never know.
Okay, the Gloucester clock is now running off. Maybe the refs are resetting it. Okay, so we're down to 17 seconds.
Okay.
All right, so that's not so good for Reading. No, they're going down to 16-15. Okay, well, whatever.
I guess we're gonna just kind of
10. Okay.
10.
That's a bit of a shock, because when they called the timeout, we thought it was 33. Then it went down to 29. But the officials are the guys with the official clock. Now they're trying to get something else on there. Okay.
33, I think.
That's what I thought. That's what I called it at originally when the timeout came. It was with 33 seconds left.
Okay.
Once in a while, I get something right. There we go. 33 seconds. Back on our clock.
Okay. Well, I'm sure Reading is delighted with that piece of news.
Yeah. Well, they
picking up 23 seconds. They've got a couple of timeouts, but they're third and
if they don't make
11.
this, Gloucester can come after the kick probably pretty hard. And here's good penetration. He
stepped away. Got a receiver.
They got a receiver, and this is going to be Palazzolo. It's going to be a touchdown. That's a bad one.
Breaks the tackle. That's Marshall.
Palazzolo was in on defense on that play, and it didn't work out. As Marshall breaks a tackle, and the Fishermen give up a big play with 33 seconds left on 3rd and long.
Well, that's Pizzotti's size on that one. 3 Fishermen converged on him. Looked like they had him thrown for a loss, and he stepped away from that, stepped up nicely. Good, strong throw. Marshall looked like he was angling for the sideline. Defender back there for the Fishermen. Marshall steps away from the tackle into the end zone, and Reading's going to go in with a momentum, maybe not builder, but at least a feel-good score.
Kick is up.
Looks like a good kick.
Yeah, it's a good kick, and that was by number 73. I'm sure we got him here somewhere. And that's Matt Sandberg, an offensive lineman who is also their kicker. And shocker, JD, 14-7 when we thought the Fishermen were in control. Well, you're never in control ahead of a team like Reading by just 2 touchdowns, but the first offensive play for Reading of the half was a disaster, and the last play of the first half was a disaster for the Fishermen. It was a good thing for Reading.
Again, Pizzotti able to step up right into the pocket. 3 Fishermen looked like they had a piece of him. Stepped away from that. Marshall coming across. Got the ball to him very nicely. Good, strong arm.
Yeah,
and I thought Marshall was going to angle it out at the sideline. He tiptoed along the sideline. Looked like the defender had a shot at him. Couldn't get enough, and Marshall puts Reading on the scoreboard.
So, 23 seconds to go. If Gloucester tries anything, it probably could depend greatly on whether they can get any kind of return, JD. They get a return near midfield. We'll see if Reading kicks it deep or tries to punch it. Sandberg is the kickoff man.
Probably try to drop it into Never land.
And he does punch it. Goodwin will come back to the right. He gets around the corner, and he's going to go down at about the 35-yard line.
Unofficially 17 seconds. I suspect Gloucester. Well, Gloucester will probably take a look at what they get out of their first play here.
Well, now with Reading on the board, we're in a situation where the first possession of the second half is suddenly crucial because Gloucester will be kicking off, and Reading has a chance to come down and do some business. We'll see if Gloucester takes a shot downfield here. Jamie Wall now checks out, which would indicate a pass situation. A draw play, and the ball is lost.
And Reading has it.
And Reading does have it at the 40-yard line. "13 seconds to go, and nothing
Looked like
to lose.
a little room on that draw play, and the ball got loose. And right in the linebacker coming up to make a defensive play and says, "Hello, here's the football."
So the last 33 seconds for the Fishermen are taking a long time, JD.
Well, Pizzotti certainly showed strength of arm, so they elect to throw it downfield. He looks like he's got the arm to get it down there a ways.
Looks for the swing pass. He's got Marshall out there, and the clock will run after this play. Just a 5-yard gain. They're going to have to call a timeout.
Quick one.
Jack Reed on the play.
They got time for one more. That was
Robbie
just
Morrissey
basically,
also there.
I think, well, again, given the time, even if Marshall goes out of bounds, it ends up being about the same thing. Marshall goes back into the middle of the field looking for a little running room. He didn't really have any blocking out there with him. I think they hope to get the Fishermen dropping deep, throw it out here into the flat area and see if they can get Marshall with a little daylight.
We're showing 4 seconds now, and Nolan Palazzola has checked in to help out the defense in this situation again.
Palazzola, the safety, is going to drop deep, obviously. Reed, Goodwin over on this side.
Unless there's a defensive foul, there's probably the last play of the half.
Now they pitch it, they got to reverse it, and they pitch it back to him.
Flea flicker.
And he's
It's going to be
good defensive coverage, though.
Well,
that was fun.
Jack Reed was there. That took a long time to develop. It was fun, but everybody knows you're going to throw deep.
Yeah.
All right, well, the good news, Gloucester looks very sharp on offense. The bad news, they give up a touchdown at the end of the first half, and they only lead 14-7. But we'll be back with second half action shortly. Philadelphia Cable, second half action. The Fishermen on top 14-7 over the Rockets. And saw a lot of positive things in the first half, JD, until a pass play that Gloucester gave up at the end of the first half.
Well, since both teams in at halftime with something to think about, Gloucester looked good in a couple of drives. First game, you don't expect perfection. And it looked like Gloucester was going to go in with a 14-0 lead, or even possibly get their hands on the ball again, which they did. But in the meantime, Reading got the ball downfield. A nice run along the sidelines, defensive play not made, and into the end zone. So now Reading goes in, obviously on a high note. Gloucester outplays them in the first half, but Reading trailing only by 7. So both teams with something to ponder and things to adjust to and work on at halftime.
First of all, we don't want to just say that Gloucester made a mistake at the half, but you never want to give up a long pass play towards the end of the half. And we have to give credit to Chris Pizzotti. He escaped big-time pressure, and he made a nice throw down the sideline, and then Marshall made the escape to get into the end zone. Maybe Gloucester could have prevented it if they got the tackle around the 10-yard line, and that's why we're at 14-7 right now. Kind of interesting stats in the sense that Gloucester dominated on the ground with more than 130 yards on the ground and just 9 yards rushing for Reading. And Reading with over 130 yards through the air, with including the 57-yard touchdown pass at the end of the half. And Gloucester with just one completion, although it was a big one. It set up their first touchdown, a 38-yard completion from Palazzolo to Goodwin. Kind of a long halftime, did you think? Weren't they out there for a while?
Real long halftime.
Because it was moving along, and now we're at 8:15. But maybe they had a lot of things to talk over. It is the first game.
I think both teams had a lot of things to talk about. And again, first games are always a feeling out process. Gloucester did have a couple of scrimmages, but then a long period of time between scrimmages. Gloucester went up and watched Reading scrimmage against Danvers just about a week or so ago. And that's always either good or bad. Supposedly, Reading didn't look that impressive against what's supposed to be a weak Danvers team, but then I'm sure if I'm on the Reading side, look over and see the whole Gloucester coaching staff and half the team watching, I'm probably not going to show them too much if I have anything not to show them.
Well, to say the least, the biggest surprise of the game has to be the fact Jamie Wall, 11 carries, 81 yards as starting the fullback spot, JD, and a big part of the first drive, in particular after the 38-yard reception by Goodwin, and he finished off the first drive with a 2-yard touchdown run. Goodwin finished off the second short 25-yard touchdown drive with an 8-yard run on the reverse play, misdirection wingback reverse. And then Gloucester sitting with a 14-0 lead, and 33 seconds on the clock, and a little bit of confusion about how much time was left, and a timeout called, and then Pizzotti escapes, and the next thing we know, it's 14-7. Is it getting windier, JD?
If possible, it is getting windier. It's supposed to die down when the sun goes down, but if anything, it's intensified. Interestingly enough, the captains go out at the second half and just said things. Nolan Palazzolo elected to stay on the sidelines and warm up the passing arm. So that's why we only had 2 captains out for the conversation with the officials as we're set to go with Gloucester kicking off.
The biggest
from
plus
right to our left.
The biggest plus on defense was the pressure Reading was able to put on Palazzolo. And of course, the negative for Reading was that Gloucester was running up the middle with abandon.
Well, obviously, if Reading tries to adjust to things in the middle, then Gloucester has the speed to go outside with Goodwin and Testaverde. So we'll see how, as we said, a little bit of a chess game, and both teams, as Bob Drowan pointed out, spent a lot of time inside at halftime. And so I have to think there were conversations on both sides of the field house there, although Gloucester goes upstairs, I think.
Well, once again, I think it's admirable that 2 such excellent programs continue to play each other. The idea is to win your conference championship now, and of course you also want to go undefeated, but this is a good tune-up game to start the Northeastern Conference season for Gloucester and to start the Middlesex Conference season for Reading. Here's a kick that's going to go and roll through the end zone. Excellent job by La Traverse. So the kicking game pretty much a plus for Gloucester here tonight. 2 extra points by Keating, including an excellent play by Giacalone, the backup quarterback, Vito Giacalone, to get the second one down, and that extra point could loom large somewhere down the road.
Should note, Baudron, we have a splendid full moon, and that usually brings on some strange happenings. And so the strange happenings are on the Reading side of the field.
Well, sometimes around here, those strange happenings will start a little bit later, but right now we got Gloucester High football, 10:55 to go in the third quarter, and there's a quick pass out to Gath, little flanker screen without much blocking, but it's going to go for about 8 yards, or we'll call it 7 yards, marked out at the 27. And
again, that play scares me a little bit because it is virtually a lateral. We didn't have an angle to tell how much behind Gath may have been.
That one looked like a forward pass.
That looked a little more like a forward pass, but it wouldn't be too much for him to be a step or 2 back and then turn and throw downfield. But they have used that quite a bit.
Yeah. As always, we thank Doc Enos for contributing to the stats. And
goes the other side,
this could be a lateral. Okay, now they're going to call an incomplete pass. It's very close. And that one was intended for number 4.
That's Marshall, Dan
Marshall, who caught the touchdown pass.
Touchdown, exactly.
Yeah. So now it's a 3rd down situation as they come out with 2 straight pass plays. 3rd and 3. Again, thanks to lost yardage on several plays, Reading with just 9 yards in the first half on the ground. Robbie Morrissey is one defensive end on the left side. O'Connor on the right. Man in motion. Handoff to Simpson, and he won't get it.
No, nice tackle by, I think that's, who is that? It's Vince Pisamenti, I believe.
Mike Mann was there too.
Yeah, I think this Pisamenti may have got the ankles wrapped up a little bit.
So that's going to make it 4th and a long 1 from the 29. And as we mentioned it towards after the Reading touchdown, this could be a big possession. Now we'll see what kind of field position Gloucester gets out of it. Goodwin goes back in solo safety.
Interesting.
So they're a little bit worried about the fake.
Put pressure on.
And this is a short kick.
The wind will get this one. Gloucester's got to watch it a little bit. A little bit of a Reading bounce. They got to watch it.
Oh, good play. All right. Good awareness there.
I think that was Goodwin probably gave a little bit of a holler because he was close to stepping on that ball.
And he didn't.
The wind definitely had an effect on that.
Okay, we'll set the Gloucester offensive line for you once again. Dan O'Connor, 68 at 1 tackle. Tyler Stropel, 52 at the other. Brendan Chipperini is the center. The 2 guards are Mike Mann, 54, and Kyle White, 64. Chipperini's number is 63. I think we're seeing Pisamenti, number 40, check in at fullback to start the half. Palazzolo is the quarterback, 14. Goodwin is the wingback, number 11. And Tess Verdi is the halfback.
Pisamenti in the backfield.
Yeah. This is a fake. Palazzolo looks deep for Goodwin. He's got him.
He's got him as right. Great throw.
Down at the 15-yard line.
What a great throw.
And the tackle that is made by Gath to save the touchdown. But that was an excellent throw, and Gloucester wanted to make a statement there, J.D.
Good piece of ball handling by Nolan. Hides it on his hip, puffs back. Goodwin breaks free, and Palazzolo laid it out there beautifully. Good catch by Goodwin, but a great throw by Palazzolo, and definitely a saving tackle.
That's a 37-yard play, so they have 2 pass completions, but they're averaging 37.5 yards per catch. Goodwin in motion. This is Wall back in the game, I believe, or is it Pisamenti?
No, they both get 4 on the left side of the jersey, so we have to wait a second.
Oh, Pisamenti stayed in. Okay, number 40 is in there. Okay. Why would they want to give different numbers to the 40?
They were. See if we can find Wall on the sideline. Wall looked like he might have been cramped up a little bit. In fact, you can see him hobbling.
Yeah, he is. Okay.
The trainer was working on him as the half started, and he's definitely hobbling.
Yeah. So we may not see him for a while, if at all.
Goodwin
Verdi
off the inside handoff.
Oh, on the inside handoff to Goodwin, yes.
Handoff wasn't a crisp one, and Goodwin couldn't really tuck it under, and it was kind of sitting on his hip, so he couldn't get underway as quickly as he wanted to.
So the Fishermen started with a 1st and 10 at the 15, and they've got a 3rd and 10 at the 15. See if they might get the tight end involved here. Also got the split end now in the game, Peter DeMeo, the sophomore.
Good athlete, good hands.
Testaverde in motion. Pitch to Testaverde, and he cuts inside.
Got some running room.
And he's got room inside the 5. Should be a first down, so good blocking out there. A nice block by number 6, the transfer, Chris Sullivan.
Always a dangerous play, but a good flip by Palazzolo back to Testaverde, because if that gets loose, and then it's Reading's ball. But then Testaverde with a nice cut behind the block, as Bob Jones said, of Chris Sullivan, and Gloucester inside the 5.
First and goal for the Fishermen. Hand off to Testaverde, he's in! Nice surge and a nice run through a big hole.
Good surge is right off the left side. Chipperini with a block. Nice little hole. Testaverde danced into the end zone, and Gloucester comes out quickly after holding Reading and gets themselves that potential 14-point margin again, 13 as we wait for the extra point.
7:20 to go in the third quarter. JD, you called it. Nolan Palazzolo was warming up on the sidelines for that first pass.
Well, I wondered why he didn't go out there for the little tete-a-tete with the officials, but they had it in mind that they were going to throw. Nolan was warmed up and did a good job. Nice strong kick again.
Is up and good. And it's 21-7 Fishermen, and like they programmed it at halftime, JD, stop Reading, 3 and out, and put some on the board quick, and they did exactly that. And of course the pass play got them off, big 10-yard plus run, about 11 yards by Testaverde on a 3rd and 10, and then Testaverde finishes it off from 4 yards out, JD.
Nicely done. Now Reading obviously faced with a situation where they're down 2 touchdowns again. Still plenty of time, but do they open it up a little bit? They have success through the air. Bazzotti shown a strong arm, but Gloucester's defensive line has been able to put pressure on him. He did avoid the pressure on the touchdown throw. See how they elect to proceed.
Gloucester's had scoring drives of 78, 25, and 53 yards. The kicking game has been a plus for the Fishermen just about all the way. They did give up a little bit of a kick return after their first score, but Latraverse has shown a very strong leg here, number 41. Here's a good kick down the middle with a good
solid
bounce.
Kick is a bounce.
Gath will pick it up at the 2.
Oh, he's in trouble.
He's in big trouble. Nice hit by, even though he didn't make the stop, Rosa got a big hit.
Rosa did exactly what you're supposed to do. Right to the ball carrier, slowed him down, wouldn't give him any running room. Yeah. Rosa spins him around a little bit. And then there's good coverage by the Fishermen, and Reading not wanting to start back at their own 10-yard line, I am sure.
So everything starting in a very positive fashion for the Fishermen here in the second half. Reading starts their first possession from the 20 and gets hemmed in, and gets stopped and has to punt. Gloucester converts in 5 plays for the touchdown that makes it 21-7. And now Reading must start at their own 11. And they're going to go with the 3 wideout look with the slot man and 2 wideouts and a man in motion and the pitch. And the man does get to the outside. It's going to be a Reading first down, and that's a number 20. And that's David Healy, who really hasn't touched the ball that much and is technically their tailback.
Well, as we just said on the Testaverde run, a little pitch play with Palazzolo doing a good job. That was a good job deep in their own end. Pitch from Bazzotti to Healy, shows some speed, got outside, gets the first down, and gives Reading a little breathing room.
13 yards, basically doubles their running attack. There's Simpson. Simpson gets to the outside, and he's going to be ahead for close to another first down. So perhaps Gloucester expecting the pass, and Reading saying, it's time for us to run.
Ishide King able to hang on, but another first down for Reading.
So Reading spreads the field a bit. Nick Ciccolone, number 3, checks in at a linebacker spot. Jack Reed comes out for a rest. Hand off over to left side. Simpson gets some
breaks
room
a tackle, gets a couple.
Gets ahead for about 5.
Slowed down at the line of scrimmage, did break the tackle, gets it out to the 40.
Mann and O'Connor in on the play. Mike Mann, 54, Dan O'Connor, 68. Stropel and Mann have been on the inside most of the evening. And Reed and Pizzamenti, for the most part, have been on the outside. But Ciccolone's in there for the moment. That's Nick Ciccolone. Hand off up the middle, slowed down. He's going to be close to a first down.
Gloucester stack things up a little bit, anticipating they'd keep it on the ground.
Simpson showing that he can break some tackles here, JD.
Dan O'Connor on the stop, close to the first down, maybe a yard on the 3rd down.
Okay, Reed checks in, and the Ciccolone man also comes out, and Leo Latraverse is on the inside now. Okay, Gloucester showing a 5-man
Reading
front.
calls timeout.
Gloucester showed a 5-man front that time with La Traverse actually lined up at middle guard, it looked like, JD.
And I think whatever Reading had called offensively, as soon as they saw what Gloucester had changed into, they said it's not going to work, so they used one of their timeouts. This is a very big play for Reading. 3rd and short. Gloucester's put one up here at the beginning of the second half. We're halfway through the 3rd period, and Reading's got to get something out of this drive.
I think unless they lose yardage here, they have to consider this 4-down territory, JD.
Well, we'll see. Flags.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, that's going to be 5 yards on Reading. Gloucester doing a lot of jumping around. Linebackers jumping into the defensive line. And somebody flinched from Reading, and that's a big 5 yards.
The last thing you ever want to do, though, is to commit a penalty coming out of a timeout. That's a bad one. So one of the first college games of the season when a team had 12 men on the field coming out of a timeout.
Yes.
That just can't happen, especially when the coach gets to sign an extension next week. Handoff over the left side,
Nowhere.
and Simpson nowhere. Ooh, kind of a conservative call there. Are they? Whoa. Fisherman stopped that one.
So Reading hurts themselves badly with the penalty, and they'll definitely punt this away.
Yeah, they have to now. They're much too far. Unless they do have some kind of we'll see if Gloucester puts one man back in Goodwin, or if they're a little bit worried about the fake again. It's going to be, yeah, they're going to keep Testaverde up again.
Gloucester, too many men on the field.
All right, well. Gloucester calls a timeout with 4:23 to go in the
Gloucester
third
sent
quarter.
2 subs into the game. Only one person came off, and when they realized it, they probably would not have gotten the 12th man off. As you speak about 12 men on the field.
Yeah, well, I didn't
So
want to
Gloucester has to use a timeout.
here. At any rate, the moon is shining down on Newell Stadium. I'd say that 4,000 maybe here tonight, JD.
Certainly for a opening night non-league game, Reading, unless those are Gloucester people over on the other side. Reading normally does not bring a good crowd to home games. Most people at the Reading home games we've observed over the years come to watch the band. But if those are Reading people over there, decent crowd, and Gloucester side certainly filled up. Gloucester band.
Sure, they heard about the new refreshment stand.
We'll give a little credit where credit is due. If we get a minute or two, we were handed a list of people who were instrumental in putting all that together. Oh, it is a fake! It is a fake!
And it works. And the ball's loose.
Oh, the ground caused the fumble, I would believe.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a first down.
It is. So they went to the up man. So Boudreaux, and you speculated they might have a little trickery, and they came with it. They go to the up man. Gloucester was spread out a little bit defensively. Probably thinking if they were going to try something, it'd be a pass.
I don't think Reading can give Gloucester the ball back at this point in the game if they're thinking about winning.
That's a big gamble, though,
yeah,
because if Gloucester stops them, they're in excellent field position and on the way to being up 3 scores.
Oh, yeah, well, Gloucester would
two.
only be 45 yards away. That's true.
But that's what do make it fun.
Yeah. Now we've got receivers out, 2 receivers out to the right. We've got Healy in motion. We got
flag.
And it's again on
Reading.
There was a handoff that went nowhere.
Yeah, they'll probably refuse this.
I don't think they had 7 men on the line of scrimmage.
That would be my call.
Yeah.
It is a procedure, but I'd be willing to bet that is exactly what it was. As you pointed out, they lined up 2 receivers on this side, fairly deep. They put a man in motion, and couldn't see where the other guy was, but I got a sneaking suspicion they didn't have 7 on the line of scrimmage.
Josh Ryan gets a breather, and Fernando Hernandez, number 77, checks in, and he looks like a big kid.
He's a big boy. He's probably the biggest kid on the team.
Okay.
He's a load.
He's in there at defensive tackle. Gloucester refused a penalty because there was no gain. Here's a deep pass on the sideline.
Little tussle.
And it's Reed on the play, and Housey, and Housey had a shot at it, but Reed was right there, J.D.
Housey got a hand on it. Reed had pretty good coverage. They got a little bit tangled up, but Housey had a good enough shot on it. He did get two hands pretty much on the football, but Reed and he probably collided just enough that Housey unable to hang on to it.
Well, Reed shows his versatility and his speed there because he's lining up an outside linebacker, but then he's covering a back out of the backfield and staying with him stride for stride. And, of course, he played defensive back for the Fishermen last year when they had 6 defensive backs against Swampscott. Third and just over 10 yards. There's a pitch for Simpson, and he cuts back.
Nice
He's got
cut back
room.
for us down.
Nice shoot-top tackle.
That's
by Pizzamenti.
Pizzamenti on the tackle, and
He was going
to still be running.
He might still. All right, it's disappointing that the Fishermen gave up another first down on a third down running play, but on a 3rd and 10 running play, but they did prevent the touchdown perhaps, because he was about to get to the outside, and he's got some speed, J.D.
So interestingly enough, that Reading making some noise on the ground. We speculated the ball would be up in the air, but they've been able to move the ball
Going to be
on
under
the ground.
Under the 3-minute mark when this play goes. 1st and 10. The pitch, he can't pitch it. Pizzardi's got to run.
Now, good
Great
coverage.
penetration by
That was Stropel. He went
out.
right to the pitch man. Pizzardi saw what was going on, had to keep it himself. That was not the play, but Stropel
Actually,
just
a good play
blasted
by
through it.
Pizzardi.
Yeah, good decision by Pizzardi.
If he pitches it, it might be Stropel being chased.
Absolutely. He had a better shot at it.
All right, Gloucester looking to substitute here. And we've got number 50 in action.
Sean Burns into the game.
We mentioned him before. He did see some time, so they're rotating some defensive linemen and linebackers.
Burns is another big boy.
2nd and 9. Down the middle, receiver wasn't even looking
under
back.
pressure. Pizzamenti
with
drops
pressure,
Pizzardi. Pizzardi wanted about 1 more second on that, but Pizzamenti was bearing down on him. Pizzardi able to get the throw off, but as Bob Drowan pointed out, just stride quicker than he wanted to.
Okay.
Pizzamenti.
Mike Mann gets arrested and LaTraverse comes back in.
Pizzamenti put a lot of pressure all over the field. But he definitely hurried Pizzardi up enough that that didn't work.
Okay, we got Burns working at left defensive end now. Straight drop back, looking for the screen.
And they got
that's handled by an offensive lineman off the deflection. It's going to
off a deflection.
It's going to keep the clock running. So
yeah.
it's a break for the Fishermen. They're the team ahead. Of course, the clock stopped. I thought, okay, maybe they called it on the ground.
Stropel with the defensive pressure that time. Pizzardi just rushed maybe a split second faster again than he wanted or needed.
Okay, I think they're signaling the clock should be running. It should have been running all the time because he did catch that ball.
And again, as Bob Drowan said, it was a lineman who ended up with the ball, but it deflected off the intended receiver.
All right, big play now, 4th and 10. Healy in motion. Another
Back
screen
to the
pass.
screen, he drops it.
That one was set up better.
That was set up better is right.
That was definitely set up better, but
don't know what would have happened if he held on to it, but it definitely looked like it was set up better. 3 or 4 white shirts out there.
4th and 10 on any football level, it's tough to throw that pass when the guy's got to make it all on his own. But that was set up better, and just as well that it dropped harmlessly to the ground. Okay, Gloucester takes over at the 45. 21-7 Fishermen.
I think Wall is back into the game at fullback.
And he gets the ball.
And not only is he back
breaks
into the
tackle.
game, but he's still going.
He looks fine. It's going to be a speed thing.
Oh,
too bad. He showed great speed. Boy, whatever that cramp medicine he got, give me some of that cramp medicine.
Who was going down the field with him? He had a blocker down there that I think was a lineman. That puts him over 100 yards for sure.
Well over 100 yards.
Now Walk comes up a little bit gimpy. Again, I think he was cramped up earlier, and that's why we didn't see him. And
okay,
I'm sure
he gets a big hand coming off the field, so he came back and made an impact.
Boy, he went off the right side with plenty of running room, and somebody was escorting him down the field. He did get caught from behind, and he almost broke out of it.
That was a 54-yard run, and now over the left side goes Testaverde. He'll get down to about the 2-yard line.
Under a minute to go in the third period.
Fishermen, if they can put one in here.
Calls a timeout as Palazzolo came over to talk to Paul Ingram, and whatever Ingram said to him, Palazzolo shook his head no. So I'm not sure what that was all about, and they elect to take the timeout.
Clock showing 41 seconds left in the third quarter. Now they're counting it down again at the ref's behest, I guess. I think they lost some time on that play where the offensive lineman caught the pass and the clock should have been running.
Right. Yeah, there was definitely a completion, and he becomes eligible because of the deflection.
Still a little bit surprised that Reading never tried to throw the ball deep in that last sequence, JD. But it's 2nd and 3 for the Fishermen. So I guess we have to call that last play no gain as opposed to 1 yard. There's Testaverde right
side.
And he's going to get close to the 1.
Should be just about on the goal line.
Yeah, maybe inside the 1. That could do it here. They may be going the other way.
Vito Gigoloni lined up in the backfield also. He was the lined up at the right halfback, I guess you'd say. Testaverde ends up with the ball from the left halfback spot. Now they send Wall into the game, but I think we're going to have
to do it for the third period. Okay, an excellent third period for the Fishermen. They stop Reading off the get-go. They add on a touchdown, and now they're looking for one more. And after 3 quarters, it's 21-7 Gloucester. We'll be right back. Quarter action with the Fishermen on top, 21-7. I'm Bob Drowan along with J.D. McEachran. The Fishermen threatening to put this game away, we hope. With the score, they're just about ready to mark the ball, and I guess they have inside the 1 yard line. It's
Wall
third
back
down
into
goal.
the game.
Wall is checked back in.
Which tells me it's definitely a cramping situation.
Yeah, and he could be in line for this one since it was his run that got him there.
I was a betting man.
Wall gets the ball, and they were looking for him. So that makes things a little bit interesting. He might have lost a yard, JD.
Like, he went off the left side, and somebody got a good shoulder in there because he had a lot of forward momentum. Somebody on the right side of that Reading defense actually does a nice job of keeping him out of the end zone.
So the Fishermen,
they're just postponing the inevitable, or
that's a good solid 1 yard loss. It's back to the 2, JD.
Is this where Nolan tucks it on his hip and heads for one of the corners?
See what happens. It's going to be a tight formation.
Yeah.
Nolan to the outside.
Am I smart?
Got the touchdown.
Flag on the play. Let's see what the flag is. Holding Gloucester.
Yeah.
Coming back.
Yeah. That was one of the fastest flags to hit the ground in recent memory.
Yeah.
Okay,
when Nolan got out to the left side, that's when the flag flew as he was diving for the corner of the end zone. The flag was fluttering to the ground.
So you could say that.
But not that I can ever guess all of the Paul Ingram playbook, but Reading had to be looking for Wall. Things jammed up on the inside, so they send Nolan outside with his speed. And looked like he had gotten to the corner, but he got there with the help of a hold. So the Fishermen get backed up.
Suddenly 3rd and goal inside the 1 is back to 4th and goal at the 13.
Miles splits way out here.
Long count. Goodwin in motion. Option play.
It's an option.
Goodwin gets to the outside.
Nope.
He's going to be knocked out at about the 5 yard line.
That pitch was not as good as the pitch before. That was a little bit high. Again, Kyle probably had to turn just a little bit more than he wanted to. A lot of wind, and the wind actually on the pitch would have been behind Nolan. I got a feeling he would have liked to let Goodwin just a little bit more.
Well, the good news for Gloucester is there's 10:09 left to go in the game. They have a 21-7 lead, and they've got Reading 95 yards away from their goal line. The bad news is they could have really put the game away with a
there was an
touchdown
opportunity to put the game away, but the penalty backs them up. Reading able to stop Gloucester, and let's see what they can do offensively.
Two receivers out to the right. Mazzotti
Does
looks
throw
for the short
wide
man
open.
to Simpson. Reed with a nice stick.
Yep, good open field tackle.
Good tackle. Pickup of about 6 on the play. So that was once again a situation where the two pass receivers trying to take their men deep, and but Reed wasn't fooled, and he was the covering the short man.
That looked like it was going to get a little bit more too. That was a good job of closing by Reed, then a good tackle.
Against a kid who probably outweighs him by about 30 pounds. Second and 4. Drop back, looking deep. He's got a man. Gath,
pressure forced him to get that away a little bit quicker than he wanted.
Gath was breaking home, but you're right. The pressure.
Strobel got there and forced him to get it upfield about 1 split second quicker than he wanted to, because he did have somebody breaking free, but he couldn't lead him enough.
Strobel's going to get arrested. He looks like he might have a cramp problem. We have to remember it was a hot day here.
Oh,
today,
very humid
you know,
day.
this wind is blowing at us.
This is
It feels like
deceptive.
a fall night, so it's very deceptive out there.
Now the humidity is high, and I think absolutely right, Bob Dolan, that some of these kids are feeling it.
All right, big play, 3rd and 4. Draw play. Oh,
Nowhere, ball
loose.
loose. Fisherman.
Never made the
Think
connection
they have it,
there.
they do.
They got
There's
it.
the break Gloucester wanted.
Okay.
Miscue.
65, I think, got it. That's Kyle Ryan. He threw the ball to the official. Yeah, Kyle Ryan is getting the congratulations on the sideline. A lot of fishermen in there.
So now Gloucester definitely could put this away.
Yes, 9:14 to go in the 4th quarter. JD, we got a timeout. Would you like to give some credit where credit is due?
Okay, I will tell you that I've been handed something. Well, I wasn't. Bob Blatchford was nice enough to supply it. And concession stand, as we know, brand new from the ground up. Pat Barry, president of the Football Boosters. Another yeoman effort to put together a stellar crew of volunteers. I watched these guys go at it. It looked like a week ago that they weren't going to get there, but they saw the end zone, shall we say, to use a football cliche, and a lot of good people pitched in. Names that I have, and if I've missed anybody, this is what we were provided. Vito Gigaloni, who spent probably a whole heck of a lot of time here. I know he did. Frankie Allo, Tony Testaverde, the same thing. Mike Mitchell, Gino Compton, Gary Stanton, Sean Cranston, Billy Martin, GHS Electrical Shop, Travis Silvera.
Hold that thought, JD.
This is the painting crew. Then we'll watch the touchdown, hopefully.
Testaverde cuts back.
Testaverde with a nice cut.
And he's got a touchdown.
He's got the touchdown.
Nice block in there by number 64.
64
Kyle White, I believe.
Is Kyle White.
Yeah, and
good cutback by Testaverde.
Rob Morrissey checked in on that play also for Stropel, who is bothered by a cramp on the sideline. They're working on him down there. He was frustrated he wasn't out there for that touchdown, but he's had a really good game on both sides of the ball, JD.
Complete this. If we get to the extra point, I'll pause again. The painting crew, Trevor Silvera.
Gloucester's going to have another timeout here, so go right ahead.
Okay, there we go. The intrepid Bobby Prevost, good man from Uncle Mo's Corner. Ricky Simon, another good man from Uncle Mo's Corner. Sam Frontero, we have in parentheses here, and Bob Drowan, you would know this, 1999 Greasy Bowl champ. So he took a little time out for Greasy Bowl practice to come down and help out. And Tom Pendergrass. These are the names that I have, and a special thanks for building materials. And this isn't a commercial plug. This is just people that pitched in with materials to help out. Tallies. How do you get building materials from Tallies? But whatever. Pond View Enterprises, Hiltz Rubbish, Wolf Hill Building Center, Timberline, Craig's Concrete, Sean Cranston Electric, Standard Electric, CT Perkins Engineering, RTP Painting, that's Bobby Provost, Gloucester Transit Mix, Primo Plastering, and I know Jackie Moses had some involvement also. So those are the names we have, and never leave out Joe Silvera, Terry's dad, saw him around there too. So that's the crew that pitched in and put it together. We've always said it's the best concession stand around, and not only now do they serve the best, they look the best.
There you go. Boy, we rattled that off. Thank goodness for that second timeout.
They kind of knew that we needed it.
Fishermen looking to tack on another extra point. They're 3 for 3 thus far. We've got 8:51 to go. They're on top. Oh, motion.
All sorts of
all
motion.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I was just, the other thing I was just going to say is Gloucester hasn't had many penalties tonight, except for the occasional hold or pushing the back. But the offensive line in general has looked sharp.
No, I think for a first game, and probably Gloucester would have liked to have one more scrimmage. This year, because of the way Labor Day falls, you had the option of that 11th game. Gloucester opted not to, staying with the traditional opener of Reading. So that meant a little longer between scrimmages than they normally would have had. But all in all, I think they've looked good.
Kick is
good,
up.
Strong kick
looks good.
with a penalty yardage.
Yep. Okay, so makes it for 25 yards. And it's 28-7 Gloucester.
Another 5 to 8 yards, and that would have been good, and that is something to keep in mind if we ever get down to a field goal situation. So certainly a good, strong leg. 2
touchdowns for Testaverde, 1 for Wall, and 1 for Goodwin, and a breakout night, over 100 yards for new fullback Jamie Wall. 28-7 Fishermen.
Well, we talked about the return of the people in the skill positions, but I'm sure now defensive coordinators around the league are saying, where the heck this Wall guy come from? And that just gives us another thing that we have to worry about.
And on another day, Wall, I'm sure they might use him in the defensive line where he's played in the past, but with the cramping situation, I think they kept him strictly to offense tonight.
Well, the concern, not that I was privy to too much information, but I did hear that they have a little concern about depth, and but they've got some youngsters, and as always, these kids will learn their playing time in practice. So I think in a couple of weeks, the depth situation should certainly look better, barring any injuries. And that's always something you have to concern yourself with, but it looks, except for a couple of cramps here and there, that we don't, with about 9 minutes to go in the game, don't have to concern ourselves with any injury problems, and I hope it stays that way.
Gloucester versus kickoff. No, the only thing out there appears to be cramps tonight, JD. They go away eventually. Here's a return.
Some running room, 1 man to beat.
Goodwin stands him up, and he's going to go down, and Goodwin was definitely the safety on that play. So a little bit of hope there with the return back close to midfield.
That's Housey on the return. And Goodwin did exactly what he's supposed to do. They elect to use Goodwin as a safety man with his outstanding speed. And La Traverse, after he kicks, he loves to get downfield and try to pop somebody. So Goodwin did exactly what he was supposed to do. Housey got some running room, but Goodwin stands him up and gets some help, and good field position for Reading. But
a couple more people on that kickoff team. Kyle Grant, number 20, was out there, and Vito Ciccolone, the backup quarterback, was also on the kickoff team that time. It was a handoff up the middle, a curious choice.
Yeah, you're down 3 touchdowns and 8.5 minutes to go in the game. Pizzotti's got to put it up. No choice.
We've got Vito Ciccolone taking some snaps here, so we may get to see him in action if Gloucester gets the ball back, which I hope they will in the next 8 minutes.
Start looking to see if we do see some tough substitutions.
All right, we've got the 4 wideout look. I think we've got the 7 men on the line. Pizzotti with pressure, and he's going to go deep, and Testaverde knocks it away at the last second.
Job.
Nice play. And that was intended
perfect defensive play.
John Dudley.
Dudley broke free a little bit. Testaverde just followed the ball and showed what an athlete he is, just reached up, knocked it away. Given 4 or 5 inches there defensively, but just made a nice adjustment.
Seen some various listings for Tyler anywhere between 145 and 175. I guess we'll say
Somewhere in the
between.
middle.
Third, and we'll call it a full 10 for Reading, just inside their own territory. This will be the quick pass to the outside, and it'll only go for about 4. Quick reaction by Gloucester. Leo Latraverse was out there, and Marcy was out there, so showing some range from his left end position.
And they've used that play a lot. They haven't gotten a whole lot out of it for as often as they've used it.
And they're going to go for it, obviously, on 4th down in Gloucester territory. There's no question about that.
Should note, although I haven't spotted him, I understand former head coach of the Fishermen from a year or 2 ago, Bob Yates, is in attendance tonight.
Pizzotti with the fake, looks deep, and Goodwin is right there. And
yeah,
he was right with the man. It was an interesting call on 4th down when you need 6.
Flag on the
go
play.
for 6. All right, what's
flag?
what is the call?
Appears to be against. Let's see. They seem to be talking to the Fishermen. And
okay, they're going to
refuse.
Whatever it is, it will be refused. And the Fishermen will take over the ball with 7:04 to go. All Fishermen in the second half for sure, JD, and except for one 57-yard pass play, is all Fishermen all night.
Is that Palazzola with pads off and right over here in front of 59, Frazier?
Let's see.
Don't know whether he's banged up or not. I can't tell. That looks like Nolan from behind.
All right, he could have got banged up when he made the pitch, JD.
Some sort of a sling that he's wearing?
Yeah,
can't tell.
Could be.
Yeah, it looks like his right arm.
Yeah, uh-oh.
It is Gigaloni at quarterback.
And we were talking about just cramps.
Testaverde on the run, get some yards. Yeah, he spoke too quick on the injury thing.
Okay, it's something to be, you'll know more about it by the time you watch our broadcast than we will. But we certainly hope that Nolan Palazzola is all right.
A shoulder. I hope something like a wrist and it's just precautionary.
Yeah, he doesn't look to be too troubled.
Goodwin comes out. Testaverde comes out. Well, we've got an outstanding trainer, as we've noted many times before, Marion Zelski, and I'm sure she'll take all the precautions necessary. Nolan's back.
Vito Lagrasso checks in, number 32, into the backfield. At the wingback goes in
looking
motion.
for the substitutes.
Pizzamenti with a nice surge for the first down.
Palazzola.
Keating is checked into the game, number 4.
Definitely looks like Goodwin over to talk to him. They're buddies. And
oh, JD, you've been dropping all these names. It's time for me to drop one. Best wishes to the Fishermen, as always, from their ex-bus driver, Sophie Favaloa.
Well, time is winding down, and it's that time of the year, and we got a birthday girl. We'll talk about her when we get a second.
Okay, probably after this play. 1st and 10, Fishermen. Handoff is once again to Pizzamenti. Gets ahead for about 3.
Well, we've been wishing this girl a happy birthday since she was a teenager. Now she's she's not a great-grandmother, just a grandmother. And
she
as
could
always,
be a great-grandmother.
Well, she is a great-grandmother.
Yeah, okay.
But there'll be a couple of years before she is a great-grandmother, and hopefully we're still here broadcasting when that happens.
See what happens.
Pal Linda Burns, saw her in attendance earlier, looking not a day or a minute older than the last time we wished her a happy birthday. Trying to get a handle on, you watch the game, I'm trying to see what's Nolan's ailment here.
Handoff to Keating over the right side with a block.
Nice tackle
there.
He looked like he had some definite running room. That's 52 or 62 for Reading, I can't tell.
I think it was 52.
Okay, and that's Miller.
Scott Miller, yeah.
He definitely looked like he has some running room. I don't know where Miller came from, but a good short tackle.
And we know that even though on the scoreboard right now it's a 3-touchdown lead for the Fishermen, never discount what this Reading team might do after this game, because last year they went 8-1 and very nearly went 9-0 after this game. So we know they can bounce back. They've got some players.
Whoa, ball loose.
Keating covers it up wisely.
You're better at the in the memory game that I am, but I think there was a year that Gloucester knocked off Reading in the first game, and both teams went on to win their respective Super Bowls.
I think you're correct. Okay, 4:16 and counting. 28-7 Gloucester. We're going to see a punt.
Nolan.
No, or maybe they'll just run a play. No, it is a punt. La Traverse is calling the signals out there. We see number 45, Jamie Wall, back out now. He was on the punt team before.
I see Mary Ellen Zalski was talking to Kyle Goodwin, gesturing a little bit, maybe about what.
La Traverse with a sideline boot, and he's going to do all right with it.
That's not bad.
Out about the 20-yard line. Just wants to make sure that it goes out of bounds and there's no big play for Reading.
Well, I don't want to dwell on the Palazzola injury because it's only speculation from up here. It definitely would appear that his right arm, which is his throwing arm, seems to be incapacitated in some way.
Well,
we've got Josh Rosa going into the game. We're going to start looking for substitutes here.
The Fishermen go to Winthrop next week, and Winthrop put up 42 points against Amesbury.
Right.
And they got 4 touchdowns.
Ball almost, now we got a late flag behind the play.
Roughing the passer, possible.
I think possibly.
Winthrop got 4 touchdowns from a guy named Wilson. I think it was Danny Wilson.
Well, Winthrop suffers dramatic numbers. I mean, they haven't had freshman programs. They got a whole lot of things going against them, but they can come up and surprise you every once in a while.
I think their premier player is Lucas Barrino. I think he was a 1,000-yard runner last year, but you're right. They are in a numbered situation.
Vito Gigaloni in defensively.
All right, we have a 1st and 10 after the penalty at the 35-yard line.
Cal Grant in defensively for the Fishermen.
Pizzotti rolls, and he's got a man open. That one was overthrown. That was Housey breaking open as the underneath man.
Pizzotti a little upset with himself, but Nick Gigaloni was definitely coming after him. Also doing their usual substitution. Mike Tarantino. In comes
Greg Kendall.
That's Greg Kendall, thank you.
58.
Sophomore.
Starter Mike Mann gets a rest, and he did a nice job tonight, both ways.
Michael worked awful hard, and he's a good kid, so nice to see that.
Pizzotti rolls left and looks on the sideline. Nice catch there by Housey. He's taken down short of the 1st down. And they called him in bounds, too.
Liam Kelleher in the game. Nate Denon back in. As Hernandez comes out. Hernandez listed at 310.
Oh, really?
I don't know if he's quite that big, but he is a big kid. He's definitely the biggest kid on the team.
Handoff over the right side, looking for the 1st down and more is Simpson. Flag. I think we got a little hold there.
2 flags.
Yeah. But I think they both called the same thing.
I would guess. Nate Hunter into the game, along with Tony Testaverde, the sophomore.
2:47 left to go in the 4th quarter, and we're going to give you the speech we give you every year about this time. We expect a big season for Gloucester High football. The best thing to do is to come to Newell Stadium and see the game. We love you to watch our broadcast. We're watching those ratings all the time. But come out and support the team at home and on the road, and it's a good show.
Well, I say that the home schedule is going to be interesting at best. We'll do one at a time, the obligatory, with the trip to Winthrop looming next week. But there's some interesting tilts coming up here at Newell Stadium.
And there's some people who have marked October 11th on their calendars against Lynn Glasgow.
Oh, almost.
Gath breaking open late. That was a good Pizzotti pass, but once again, there were fishermen in the area, and you really had to thread that one in there, JD.
Yeah, Vito Gigaloni with the coverage. As Kelleher comes off. think we got Kyle Grant into the game.
Yeah, Kyle Grant's working at safety.
Gallagher back on again.
Ciccolone and
Chris Sullivan.
Chris Sullivan working. Sullivan is over at on defensive tackle now, but he spent most of the game as a starting tight end. Tony Testaverde is working at left corner, number 33. Nick Ciccolone is in there and talking to his brother, and he's working at linebacker, and he saw some action earlier in the game also and had one big hit on a kickoff.
Watching Nolan now move along the sidelines as we see Hernandez back into the game, down to 2.5 minutes. Nolan doesn't look like he's in a whole lot of distress going up and down the sidelines. Hopefully nothing too serious.
Maybe he just took off his shirt to worry us. There's a pressure, and it's going to be a sack. Bunch of fishermen in there. I don't know if Pizzotti went the wrong way on that play.
Looked like some confusion. I don't know whether he's looking for somebody to hand it off to who wasn't there. He just looked like something that was supposed to happen didn't happen. And now we have wholesale substitutions.
Well, we also have the
as Gloucester takes over on offense.
Oh, I'm sorry, they went for on 4th down. Congratulations. So we're going back, and well, some of the same people are staying in now, but we do have 34 out there, and that's
Alex Ritchie is out there. Okay, and we have Alex Ritchie, number 47.
Yeah, Alex is 47. Vito Lagrasso checks out.
Nick Ciccolone is probably going to be the quarterback as he's talking to
I
Paul
don't
Ingram.
think we're going to see anything outside of the tackles here.
Handoff left, handoff right.
2:22 unofficially. 28-7 Fishermen. Nice solid
flag
opening
delay.
game performance.
A little too long to get that off.
Yeah.
Let's see. Come on, don't be sideways to me. I'm trying to see who the center is.
And as we said, a little windy here tonight. We'll get our cameraman and producer, who I haven't really mentioned enough tonight because I haven't mentioned it at all. Bob McClinchy. I forgot. There he is. He's up there. He fixed the sound for us so we could hear each other after the first quarter.
I think we get to mention again the people who help us out.
Yeah, that's going to come right up. Is that very thing?
Yeah, let's get Mr. McClinchy up.
Carry over the right side, and the good pickup.
I think that's Tony Testaverde.
Yeah, number 33.
On his first varsity carry. And he is the son of the gentleman that we mentioned earlier who did so much good work on the concession stand. And obviously his mom would be very negligent if we didn't mention Mary, who was the mayor's secretary.
About an 8-yard gain after the penalty, so 2nd and 7 for Gloucester. Once again, we want to thank the supporters of these broadcasts, Glover's Floor Coverings, Ciccolone Construction, the Sports Zone, and the Cape Ann Savings Bank. Thank you very much for your support.
That is Kelleher at center. And we have another flag.
Gloucester in motion, I believe. Somebody jumped a little bit
Dan
too soon.
Pizzamenti on the carry. So a couple sophomores getting their first carries, but there's a flag against the Fishermen.
Also want to point out that a lot of the Gloucester High teams now play night games during the week, and the field hockey team, the both girls and boys soccer, are off to good starts. And we always say come out and support those programs too.
We have Chris Van Boven and Jason Pellegrino into the game. And Boven a junior, Pellegrino a junior.
154.
Again, as always, our apologies, wholesale substitutions at the end of the game. We try to get everybody's name. If we miss somebody, it's not intentional. Just get in and out of there so quickly. Pellegrino at halfback. Pellegrino on the carry, right side. So you added 2.
So it's a good thing when the third string quarterback gets some action in the first game, JD. And Nick Ciccolone looks comfortable there with the handoff.
We again just hope that everything's all right with Nolan. We know he has a capable backup, but we like to see the status quo if possible.
We're going to be under a minute when this play goes off. It's a 4th down play, so we could have another change of possession if the Fishermen renew the downs. That could about do it. Long count. Handoff over the left side. Looks like it'll be a first down. And that was Dan Pizzamenti once again. And after they reset this one, Gloucester will just take their time. Probably will have time for one more play. Did we get Raphael Oliver out there?
I can't say that we did.
85 is checked in. Sophomore, tight end. I think he weighs 132, not 130.
Been in the weight room.
This should do it. Again, 2 touchdowns by Testaverde, touchdown by Goodwin, a touchdown by Jamie Wall, and a big performance on the ground by the new Gloucester fullback.
Okay, now we take the knee.
Nolan Ryan with a, Nolan Ryan, Nolan Palazzola, that was a good one. Nolan Palazzola, with the big completion to start the second half, and we hope he's all right as he goes out with his uniform shirt off for the congratulations deal, but they are keeping him immobile there on the right side, JD.
Well, there'll be an update in the newspaper. We can only guess that it's enough of a situation, and hopefully it's precautionary that they got him out of there, and hopefully he's all right. Good effort, I think, by the fishermen. Still some questions to be answered, but again, first games before that. Our quality opponent, and as you said, the emergence of Mr. Wall, adding another threat into the Gloucester backfield. And I think there's enough things out there on the positive side to carry things into next week up in Winthrop, but there's also some things to be worked on.
Oh yeah, there's always things to be worked on. And that's going to wrap it up here at Newell Stadium. Again, our cameraman producer up on the roof, Bob McGlinchey, we thank him for his effort here tonight. I'm Bob Drowan along with J.D. McEachran for Gloucester High School football on Adelphia Channel 12, and the final score, once again, Gloucester 28 and Reading 7. Good night.